This handheld has the current most powerful rock chip available in a handheld, the rock chip 3588S. It also has a really ripped half naked guy on it. Ignore that for a second. But it has another secret. This is a Web3, a crypto gaming, blockchain gaming handheld based on the Solana token. And so we're going to look at this today because with this high powered CPU that can play a lot of PS2 and GameCube, as well as all of this new fangled crypto blockchain stuff, I wanted to pick this up and I got this for just $100. So we're going to take a look at it and check it out and find out what is retro gaming like on this. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Let's dive in to the Play Solana PSG1. So for those of you wondering, is this going to play retro games? The quick answer is no. It's a very locked down system, and I'll get into that in a minute. But if you just wanted to know if you could play PS2 on this or GameCube like I thought from the early materials I saw, currently the answer is no. But let's hop into this and take a look as I unbox and test out the Play Solana PSG1. Have you ever had this problem where you clearly put on your front door, no soliciting, and yet, despite that warning, comes the dreaded ding dong or knock, 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 like this guy right here? I'm tired of all these tweakers coming to my door when it says no soliciting. So if you're like me, call Dead Fred Security and get set up with a advanced robotic AI system that can deter people from wanting to come up to your door. Check out the awesome technology that Dead Fred provides.
Hello? Anyone home?
Leave the premises now. No soliciting is allowed.
All right, I'm leaving.
Early last year, we checked out a handheld, which is not a typical handheld for this channel, a retro gaming channel. This handheld was called the BitBoy 1, and it promised to bring Bitcoin mining to your retro gaming handheld. And while that promise has been experimental at best and full of empty promises, people have continued to push forward with the idea of Web3 and tokenizing gaming and bringing gaming into a point to where you can game and also maybe perhaps make some money. Well, I was pretty excited when I saw that they were bringing another one, the Solana PSG1, mainly because it was going to use a Rockchip 3588S. That is a CPU that we've seen before in handhelds and covered on this channel, most notably on the TJ80, the huge 8-inch handheld that famously launched on Indiegogo really poorly. And the Rockchip 3588S is a very capable CPU that can play through much of the GameCube and PS2 library. So when I got an opportunity to test this out, I thought, sure. And today we're going to take a look at it. I was able to pick this up open box, but barely used, for about $100. And as you can see here, this is the Play Solana handheld. It is a very thin form factor. And as we explore this and I go over my use case with this, I want to say that I'm both disappointed and optimistically excited for the possibility of what this could become in the future. So, but let's dive into my experience testing out the next iteration of crypto gaming, retro gaming, something, Web3, whatever they want to call it. Now let's dive in. Okay, so this is Android, and it's Android 15, which is really kind of cool and exciting because it's a newer version of Android on this handheld. Now, this first launched in October of 2025, so this has been launched for a few months now. I'm not sure how many of these sold. The initial original one, the Founders Edition limited one, has sold out, or called Wave 1. Now they're on Wave 2. But the software that is on this has been a self-developed software called ECHOS. HOS, I'm not sure how to say that. And I was initially excited because a lot of the promotional material leading up to this had mentioned how this was a retro focused game handheld that could do retro gaming. So getting this and playing with this, I became quickly disappointed in how locked down this ecosystem is. So first, I'm going to talk about this as a retro device because this is a retro focused channel. And for those like me hoping to use this in its current form as an Android handheld and to load things like Dolphin or Nether, are going to be very disappointed to find out that this system is currently super locked down. In fact, as I show you here, I could get into the bootloader, and they did leave the OEM bootloader unlock option in the developer options. However, when you try to install anything, it is grayed out. They don't allow you to install any unknown apps. There's no way to go into the Play Store. There is Chromium. They do give you a web browser, probably because some of the games have to have that. But it doesn't do you much good because you can't really download any apps. You want to watch YouTube? Well, you can actually get that going through the Chromium browser, but there's no browser to click on from the menu that they give you. Now, I will say that this is a very early software, and this is a startup, and they have big ambitions, and I'm hoping that the promise of opening this up will happen. Now, I understand being a crypto focused and being a Solana focused handheld, their first priority is to make sure that those games work, that they're secure. This is a hardware wallet. I get all of that. But I hope that there could be a way to dual boot or boot into a section where you can play, because you have an SD card reader. For what? You can't even get into the file system. I can't add my normal files on here. And so I did explore unlocking the bootloader, but I don't think I am good enough to put Lineage on here or figure this out. And so I didn't mess with that. And so from here, I'm going to just talk about the experience as intended. But I wanted to get that out of the way. I was not able to run retro gaming with this Rockchip 3588S. You should be able to play most PS2 and GameCube at 1x, a lot of it at 2x with this CPU. We did it on the TJ80. So I will just have to table that and hope that maybe this opens up. I spent $100 on this, which I still think is great just for a hardware wallet alone. But yeah, so now I'm going to transition after this break and talk about just the experience of actually using this as it's intended. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about AliExpress's mega sale. This month they're having the 328 mega sale, the biggest of the year so far. And I wanted to talk about this product that they provided for us. This is the retro card handle from IINE, at least I think that's how you say it. This is a small form factor controller that's perfect for your Switch 2 or your ROG Ally PC phone or tablet. It is a good value retro card handle that comes with a 1000 polling rate, What is the polling rate? I'm not sure, but I'm told that it gives you a high return rate. Reduce the protruding height by 75%, prevent collision and false touch, and control more freely. It also has some raised caps you can add to it, and it's multi-platform compatible, meaning you can use it on many systems, including, yes, even the Steam Deck. Check the link below if you'd like to check out this awesome little controller. We've been having a lot of fun with this, using it on our Switch 2. It also has a great battery that lasts at least 12 hours with a 600 milliamp hour battery included. This is a quality product from a quality company that we've played with controllers from before, and we think you'll like this one at a fantastic price. Hit the link to get the best deal. Anyways, back to the show. Okay, so let's start with the box. And it has the Solana logo on it, just on the front. So no real indication as to what this is if someone handed this to you. Around the side, there is this statement, Solana will never be the same. Well, we'll find out about that. And then the other side says play Solana. Moving to the back, we have a sticker where we get some information here. And again, this is where things get exciting because it does show it's an ARM processor, an octa-core. It says the Rockchip 3588S. It has 8 gigs of memory, pretty good for an Android handheld. The storage in it is 128 storage. This is also a hardware wallet. Now, I'm not a big crypto guy, and I think a lot of you that watch this channel probably are anti-crypto. So this is something I'm not real familiar with, but a hardware wallet I think is probably a better idea for storing your crypto than to keeping it, somewhere online or at a Coinbase or something like that. So this does have a pretty decent encrypted hardware wallet. So besides buying a gaming console here, you are getting that for the money. It does have a seed vault connectivity, and then it has the 3.92-inch 1240 by 1080 screen here. Now, that is the same screen we found originally on the Snowcake, one of my favorite handhelds, and most recently on the Retro Pocket Classic. We found it on the bottom screen of the Thor, and so it's been in different handhelds. This is a beautiful screen, so we've already got a pretty good, impressive CPU, and we've got a beautiful OLED screen already in a form factor that is a little bit thinner than the Retro Pocket Classic, and yes, has sticks. There's a little more information on here, but let's get the box open and find out and look inside. And when, again, I was able to pick this up used. Now, these are going for, as far as retro gaming goes, an absurd amount, $329 brand new. However, remember, you are getting a hardware wallet for crypto. And looking inside, we'll take the handheld out of the way here. And there's not a lot. There's a quick start guide. So we do have a quick start guide here. And this kind of helps you set everything up. This is running a version of Android. It shows you the control layout. It shows you how to use your S Valguard and your seed phrase. And speaking of which, if you don't know, with crypto and your hardware wallet, you're going to have a seed phrase. You only have that. No one else will have that. So it's very important that you keep that somewhere safe, because if you lose it, you're not going to be able to get back into your wallet. And so they do give you this nice little card inside where you can write out your seed phrase. That way you can have it. And as you can see here, I have not set mine up, but you can have your seed phrase there and keep this. That way you can have it in a safe place, like a safe or something. We also have a user guide with a QR code here. So if you've lost your QR code, there it is right there. You can scan it and it'll take you to all the setup guide. And then we have our power USB-C cord. And that's about it. There's not a lot else in here. So very basic, but let's get that out and let's take a look at the handheld and first impressions. When I first picked this thing up, I was very, very impressed with the way that this felt. It is a tall boy. It's very long and slender, but it's also thin. And I was really immediately impressed with the way that this feels. Going solely on a form factor, this feels like a shape and a size and a weight that I think if Retroid updated their Pocket Classic and added sticks, that I think would be beautiful. I like this, especially because it still has that same beautiful screen here. So it's got a nice slim shape to it. You can see here it does have an angle downward, and holding it feels really nice to hold. So we're off to a really good start here. I like the form factor immediately. Let's feel the plastic, and the build quality feels pretty good as well. If you're going to launch something and try to start something new, then you don't want to launch it super cheap. And I gotta say that the plastic and materials used here are decent. They're actually better than decent. They're pretty good. But as always, let's start testing the buttons. And we do have two convex and two concave buttons in the style of like Analog Pocket. And the buttons are independent and they feel pretty good. Now, they're not the quality of something like the Thor or that we've seen from AYN or Retroid, but they're pretty good. I like them. I don't have any problem with the buttons. They got a good travel distance. I like that we have the concave and convex on there. Not bad. They look nice. And there's some special editions, limited editions of these that look kind of really nice. The finish to it is sort of matte. I would rather prefer it be polished. I like a polish, sort of like Ambernick does, but not too bad. Now let's move over to the D-pad. And the D-pad is stiff. Now the D-pad I don't love. I got to admit that I don't love the D-pad. It feels kind of stiff. It's kind of loud. You can see here. And it doesn't pivot real awesomely. So I'm kind of iffy on the D-pad. These sticks, though, the sticks do have L3 and R3. And as you can see here, they have pretty good, decent range of motion. Now, I am a big fan of the Genful sticks, the newer sticks that are out there, or the full-size sticks like we have on the Mangmi Max Pro. But I like these, and this special edition actually has like a nice little cover to it. So I like the position they're in. They're in the position for retro. And so we're doing pretty good here. We also have a start and select button, and those are okay. And then we have the Solana button. Now notice there's no menu button, no home button, no back button, nothing like that. So being an Android, everything's touchscreen, so maybe not a big deal for that. Now there are distributions of Linux for the Rockchip 3588S, but I have a feeling that this is probably not going to get Linux support. It may not get any kind of support outside of what the Play Solana group is doing. Moving around the side, and we do have a volume up and down along with a micro SD card slot. So good to see there's a micro SD card slot there for expansion. We move over to the bottom, and we do have our USB-C port along with two bottom firing speakers. And then on the other side here, nothing. Oh, we have our power button. So there's our power button. And then on the top, there's nothing. So pretty basic. And then the big first concern here. So far, the hardware has a good CPU, a beautiful screen, a nice thin build quality. It's not heavy. It's got a D-pad that's not great, but the buttons are firm and good, and the sticks are pretty acceptable. But the big problem here is we do not have L2 and R2. We have a single L and R. Now these, and ignore the half naked man there. I don't really get the Giga thing, but this particular version, yeah, had a couple of half naked guys on there that are ripped. But the the shoulder buttons, I like them. I like the curve of them, and holding the sticks. You can see here as I hold it, holding the sticks. This is a nice form factor. If only it had L2 and R2, but I really like the way this feels. And then this, what is this back here? Oh, that is a fingerprint sensor. Pretty cool. So we can do the fingerprint sensor and turn it on and off with the fingerprint sensor. So since this is a hardware wallet for your crypto, you want to secure it. If you lost this, you don't want somebody to get in it. So it's good that it has that fingerprint sensor. There's nothing much on the back there, just the Solana logo. And this has a nice little transparent look to it. So the hardware's biggest flaw is the lack of an L2 and R2, and then the D-pad is just not as great as I think it could be. Aside from that, I really like the way this feels in the hand. I like the size of it, the distribution of it, the ratios of it. I love this screen. I've always loved this 4-inch screen. It's a beautiful OLED 4-inch screen. And so we're missing maybe some extra buttons. That is the biggest flaw here. But I want to get into this system, and I'm going to talk about what I found, what I discovered, and what I was most disappointed in. Okay, so setting this thing up is pretty straightforward, especially if you've never really used a crypto service. It comes pretty self-installed. You can set up a pin or pattern along with your fingerprint used on the back here. And the fingerprint works pretty good. As you can see here, if I can get it to focus. You have a screen here that's green. It does have the clock. And once you're into the software, you do have a pretty basic home. You have the Explore section, which allows you to explore the current software that's available. You have an installed section. On the bottom, you do have a home button, a search button, which allows you to search games. You can search by type of game. You then have your player profile, and then you have your settings. And going into settings, you do have a special settings for your Svalguard, where you can set up your wallet and manage your wallet. You also have your normal Android functions. And again, some of these functions are locked down, not allowing you to really do much. The Solana button in the middle will take you back to your home page. Now, I played through several of these games, and I found that like most of the crypto games so far, they're sort of the type of games that are mass stream, easy point and click games. One of these games is in the style of The Binding of Isaac, which is kind of fun, but it's not as good as The Binding of Isaac, of course. But the star of it is called The Play Solana Origins. And this is a Pokemon kind of game, RPG game, where you scroll around and you learn about Solana. I think this is the best implementation currently on this device because it teaches you about Solana, the ecosystem. It gives you tasks to complete, and then it eventually lets you have battles. Now, you're using real money, real crypto. So in order to get the most out of this, you do have to load up your wallet with some crypto to use. Again, this is not just your everyday game. This is the Web3, as they call it. So I found that playing Play Solana Origins had a decent story. Graphically, it looks okay. And I did learn a few things as playing through it, so I found it to be worthy. I was a little surprised that I actually um, found myself wanting to pick it up and play. So I'd say they've done a good enough job here. This is called the chapter beta. And when you start the game, you do connect your wallet and all that kind of jazz and everything. And then you get connected, you'll go into it and confirm your wallet, and then you can play story mode. There's also a degen mode where you can play offline. You collect your character, and then you have the game here. And it's not going to show up on the screen here. I have to show the overhead cam. But running the game here is where I could really try the D-pad out, and the D-pad is just too stiff. Now you can control the character with the stick, which is what I found myself doing more often. The sound on this sounds okay. It's not bad. It's pretty loud. Again, you got bottom firing speakers. I think you have two of them. And the screen is gorgeous as usual. But overall, I found that this is way early. It is probably very effective as a hardware wallet at this point if you manage crypto. The games are still developing. I would say that this is very much in a beta stage, if not an alpha stage, and probably needs to be developed. Now, the question is, will this get the backing? It looks like they've sold quite a few of these. I don't know what they were intending or how many, and I don't know what kind of venture capital's behind it. But I'm going to keep an eye on this. And again, I'm very disappointed that right off the bat, the easy thing they could have done is allow this to actually use Android the way it's intended. That would have helped out a lot in selling these. And so if you're looking at this, Solana, you got to find a way to allow that, because right now you have a very nice handheld that plays games that are not all that great and can't play all the great games I want to play. So yeah, but for $100, I think I did pretty good. I would not have paid the $319 that they were asking for this, not in its current state. But for what I got it for $100, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. If anything, just so I can experiment with Solana and have a hardware wallet, along with learning more about it by playing this game. So, hope you guys enjoyed this, venturing out into a little bit different sort of territory. Was hoping this would do some retro, but maybe it will in the future, and I'll revisit it. I'll say that I probably will use this a lot more than I did the BitBoy 1. That one just, again, was also locked down and didn't even allow full access. So guys, you gotta find a way to let the games play. I mean, this could have been a decent streaming solution through, Apollo and Artemis with this screen. But again, I mean, I don't know. Remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones, because tomorrow's never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Different out.